Your teen artists will be given a unique opportunity to show their talent to America and the top players in the art world. I'm your host and judge, China Chow, and this is Work of Art, the next great artist. One artist will emerge from the pack to take the grand prize, a solo show at the world-famous Brooklyn Museum, and $100,000 provided by Prismacolor Art Uninhibited. This is the opportunity of a lifetime.
My name's Abdi Farah. I'm 22 years old. I live in like a small town called Dover, Pennsylvania. It's out there. So I'm so excited just to be in New York and have people looking at my art. Coming into this competition, our assignment was to create a self-portrait. My self-portrait, it's kind of me as this like space alien or space hero. I want to see what the competition's like. I'm really hoping to win. I need this a lot.
Wow. My name's Neo Bustamante. I am more known for my video art and performance works. All mediums can be used to express your idea. I know what you're thinking. Maybe Neo's a little too established for the show. It's okay, I'm a team player. And I'm a team captain. I feel like I've already won. And so I think that I could be really generous with my criticism.
For me, being an artist is, you know, the best thing. I wake up at noon and then I'll get out my brushes and my paints and paint till 5 or 6 in the morning. Although I am broke most of the time, I live to create and I create to live. Ryan.
Ryan, hey, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Oh,
Is this you?
Yeah, that's me too.
Wow, you got some skills, Ryan.
Oh, thanks.
I've always been really passionate about art. I worked as a studio assistant for Jeff Koons, and it was a really wonderful experience.
So this is probably you.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Is that yours?
Yeah.
A lot of times people assume that someone like me couldn't be an artist, and then I always surprise them with my work.
I grew up in rural Minnesota with lots of woods and building forts and like making bows and arrows and everything. I take baths because I can get more things done while bathing. I'm going to begin eating my breakfast while preparing a sequential to-do list for the day, all while getting clean in the tub. The realization that I had obsessive compulsive disorder started in childhood where like I had to arrange the food on my plate in a certain way. Yeah, I've got these little neurotic quirks. It's nothing that's not manageable.
This is a great way to meet everybody.
So I went into architecture, practiced for a number of years, and then one day sort of thought, if I could do whatever I want to be doing right now, this minute, what would that be? And it was painting.
Is this your actual birth certificate?
It is.
Sweet.
For me, this is about my A game. It's about, I love you, but I have to beat you.
Wow, you look totally like Angelique Jolie in this.
It's like I made it abstracted, reclining female form.
This is just the legs?
2
or-
foot, little arm.
I'm making a leap here, but I'm going with it.
Nea's really rude. She isn't really gonna intimidate me. I did a Google self-portrait.
But at least you're on Google, because I've Googled myself 100 times, and I find a hockey player from Canada. Right now, I'm just in shock that I'm here. It just feels like a dream. Hi.
What can you tell us about your work?
This is the first time my art's been out of the house. I've never been to school.
For somebody who's entirely self-taught, it's truly impressive.
When I realized I got this opportunity, I cried. I just don't want to fall on my face.
Is your piece the one, the yellow one over there?
Yeah.
I love that one. Eric,
Thanks, that's a good start. That's a good start. And I know this is yours, Trong. I think it's gorgeous.
It is.
I love it.
Oh my God, Trong is here.
He's a curator, he's an artist who's really well known.
My intention for it was that it would eventually disintegrate the image. We'll see who disappears first, me or the image.
Hey, Peregrine.
I know, yeah.
It's great, right, to be able to pick people out from the self-portraits.
Show us yours. I want to see yours.
Oh, there it is.
I think I kind of.
Oh, baby, there it is.
Hi, I'm Mark. Hi.
Yeah, we guess which one was yours.
Yeah, go figure. I don't like take myself too seriously. There is some amazing art on the walls, but Eric's piece, that's what you make when you're like a cool, angsty guy, freshman year of college.
This portrait is like whatever I was like thinking of at the time back home. I'm in a warehouse studio and I share it with 30 cockroaches, a black widow spider. So I thought this would give me the opportunity to show my work to a wider audience.
John's work doesn't seem very well executed to me. That triangle painting, it's not so good.
Hello.
Hi.
Could we please gather around?
In comes Simone de Puree, which is crazy because this guy is a really big deal.
Welcome to the gallery, and welcome to Work of Art, the next great artist. I'm China Chow, and this is Simone de Puree, a leader in the international art world.
Ever since I was a teenager, I was absolutely obsessed with art, and I've never stopped following what was happening in the contemporary art scene ever since. I just wanted to speak to you about this Jeff Koons. I spent 16 years at Sotheby's as a chief auctioneer for the company, and now I'm the chairman of Phillips de Puree and Company. And $14,000. My approach to art is purely physical. I normally know in the first split second if it's a great work or not. Hello everyone. I have never seen such a diverse group. Some of you are sculptors, some of you are painters, some of you are photographers. I believe one of you is even an architect. And I just want you to know I'm going to be there for you to give you help, advice, and more than anything else, full moral support.
Thank you. I'm your host as well as a member of your judging panel. I love art. Art is my passion. I was born into a family of collectors and have had the privilege of knowing some of the greatest artists of our time. And I can't wait to see what you guys create.
It's also great that we have China Chow here. She grew up immersed in the art community around Andy Warhol, Jean-Michel Basquiat, and Julian Schnabel. That's incredible.
We have 10 challenges in store for you that will test your talent to the limit. For the winner, $100,000. Provided by Prismacolor Art Uninhibited. And your own solo show at the world-renowned Brooklyn Museum.
A solo show at the Brooklyn Museum of Art. It'd be pretty hard to get excited about anything else for a long, long time.
Okay, it's time for your first challenge. Now that you've seen each other's self-portraits, each of you will create a portrait of one of your competitors. A successful portrait is one that shows the viewer the inner essence of the subject and not just their likeness.
All of your self-portraits have been paired in a completely random way with one of your colleagues. Your task is to do the portrait of your colleague, and vice versa, your colleague will do your portrait.
You have until midnight tonight and only a few hours tomorrow to complete your pieces. Tomorrow night, your work will be on display here in the gallery for an audience of New York art lovers and the judges. One of you will win this challenge and one of you will be going home. Good luck. I'll see you tomorrow.
Bye.
Okay, now let's check out your workspace.
That's awesome. I'm blown away. They're art supplies from heaven.
You will have now half an hour to get acquainted with your subject for the challenge. Thank you so much.
30 minutes.
30 minutes.
I have done work before where I use cats. With the cat, I use the word pussy. Okay? And so it sort of buffers the idea that I'm talking about genitals.
I was always an artist, even in the hippie days, but it was these pussy pieces that put me on the map.
For you, the one that came into my mind is proud pussy.
Proud pussy. I find it a little bit offensive. I have no idea how she might get that from me upon first impression.
You know, I think for me, I keep up certain barriers.
I'm pretty open as a person. I bear out all my dirty laundry.
I was born in Saigon, Vietnam. My family came over as refugees. I have been in the New York art world for almost 10 years. I think versatility will play a large role in this competition.
In your portrait, you use your silhouette. That's what I was kind of going to do for your portrait. Trong is like the ultimate cool as a cucumber hipster. I hope I can make a portrait worthy of his coolness.
I'm really into lilies right now. Lilies? And hermaphrodites. When I was 22, the Whitney Museum of American Art purchased my work for their permanent collection, and it was a mind-blowing moment for me. So can I draw you, like, in a state of undress?
I grew up with a wood shop in my garage that my dad owns. I work with my hands a lot, so I've always been in between design and art, which I think makes me a little bit more unique.
Like, I don't know if I could see your back, even if you don't take off your clothes.
Yeah.
I took Nicole's clothes off with my eyes because she's just a really beautiful young lady.
So right away, I was struck by all of the jewelry that's kind of ornate.
Yeah. And I am so excited to let you guys see a glimpse of the fantasy and make-believe that make up my life and work. However, I'm not just a ditzy, Christian blonde, Barbie wannabe person. I'm an artist.
The artist I've been paired with is Miles.
All right, Miles is off to, I don't know what.
The half hour was a little bit frustrating. Miles was running around pulling out all his power tools and everything, so it wasn't as if we sat down and just kind of got to know each other.
All right, I'm just gonna come up with my own ideas then.
Yeah, I want to basically use my style, but captured your personality.
Whatever you want.
It might look dark, but it'll be fun. I feel a little bit out of my league. I've been in the art world for about maybe 6 hours now.
I'm totally comfortable with making a complete jerk of myself, so that's fine. I'm from Santa Maria, California. Santa Maria is a hard town to find, gallery and exposure through art. I spend a lot of time flipping burgers during the day, and then in the afternoon shooting scantily clad models in weird costumes. When you have an opportunity like this, you have to try and cash the lottery ticket and see how far it'll go. This is it, this is the Dare to Be Great situation.
I hope you had a chance of getting acquainted with the subject of your first challenge. But now, I have a surprise for you.
Coming up on Work of Art.
Oh God, we don't know. There's gonna be some kind of twist.
I have a surprise for you.
Oh my God. Who do you know? It's Sarah Jessica Parker, one of my idols.
Wait, who is this?
Hi, Miles. Nice to meet you.
And you are?
I'm Sarah Jessica.
Oh, yeah.
Pleasure. Nice to meet you. Welcome.
Please welcome Sarah Jessica Parker, the executive producer of Work of Art.
I want to tell you, I come from a family that loves art. I grew up in a time that the government supported art. I'm an art enthusiast, and you are all here because your work was exceptional. And I will say just lastly only this, which is be brave, be competitive, and be yourself. Show the world your art. It's time. Do it. So thank you. Bye, you guys. Thank you all.
When I get nervous, I make bad jokes. That was the stupid one that I chose in that moment. I'm just really embarrassed that I did that.
You see, she loves art, and that's why we're all here. I will be coming later on to check on your progress, so see you all later.
Thank you.
I know I gotta hit the ground running. I definitely don't want to go home. We have basically 10 hours to complete these portraits of fellow artists. That's not a lot of time. I want you to have the cigarette with your chin out real intense. Ryan says I'm a chain smoker. Right after that, he was like, I'm a vegetarian, I don't eat meat. I just thought that was kind of funny that he doesn't mind killing himself, but he's a vegetarian, doesn't want to kill animals.
Just give me about a minute.
That's all I'm gonna do.
I normally portray myself or other young women, so it's definitely a challenge to try to capture the essence of somebody who's a lot older than I am, or wiser, or more mature, I should say.
Your eyes are so beautiful that like when I look at you, I'm like, whoa, icy blue. Like.
Perfect. The first thing I do when I get into the studio is make a dark room, just because it's a necessity for screen printing. You have to flood the screens with a photosensitive chemical called emulsion. And so basically you've got to keep it in a dark space. I like to refer to it as a fort.
Miles' process is very regimented. He knows each step that he has to do. And so I decided to do a kind of mirroring dance with him. It's kind of a mapping of Miles in the studio. He's all over the studio. And I try a couple different ways to capture those actions. Getting into the mind of Miles is not easy.
Cool. You ready?
Yeah, I'm in it.
Eric sees the clown nose and says, "Oh yeah, just put the clown nose on. That'll convey silliness."
Dude, that's awesome.
There you go.
Thank you. If I'm making a portrait of somebody that I've just met and try to capture their essence, I really luck out getting somebody with a sense of humor kind of like mine.
That's fake angry? What pisses you off?
Sitting here sweating with the word kittens.
You definitely get the appearance that he's a tough guy, and then I talked to him more, and he's goofy, he's silly, so I totally wanted to use that in my work.
I'm never gonna get laid after this, dude.
Your crotch is still too lit.
Needs a little bit more punch, but I really wanted to try to capture your love of pattern. This is what I do. I tell people stories through my abstract oil paintings. This opportunity is definitely a stepping stone in my journey with my art career. I want my art to have meant something to not just somebody, but lots of somebodies.
Just be like you're sleeping, totally relaxed. Yeah, that is so perfect. Death portraiture was pretty historically significant, maybe the 1800s. When a person would die, you'd take a photo of them. With Nao, it would work perfectly because there was something morbid about her work, and I felt like the only way that I was going to get a good handle on her was to make her dead.
I have no idea what Miles is up to, but I like it. It's loud, and he has special tools and masks and goggles, so I'm in.
I'm making a portrait of John based upon his essence. He loves reptiles and snakes, and I was able to locate a bit of decorative wallpaper that actually has a reptile pattern on it.
It's clever, it's conceptual, I love it.
Uh-oh, we already have nudity.
She's painting you naked over there.
I know, it's awesome.
You got like green pubic hair bush. It's looking pretty good. Nicole's intimidatingly good looking, but so's Judith.
How'd you get her to pose nude? Woohoo! Where was I?
I feel like Jamie Lynn's piece is work that people do when they're squiggling and cutting out. Eric's piece is amateurish, like high school project. We'll see what happens.
Hello, everyone. Now we part to the serious part because I want to see what you've done this afternoon.
I think it's limitless what we can learn from Simone. I mean, he sees amazing art on a daily basis. He knows what's gonna make it in this competition.
Hi, Amanda.
Hi, how are you?
Now, whose portrait are you doing?
I am doing Jamie. She's a lover of pattern. She's got on quite a lot of jewelry, and it kind of reminds me of something where you got a lot of patterns that have to work together.
I can't see how it reflects Jamie's personality.
Few things. She's wearing a lot of blues and has some ochres on. So originally thinking that these colors were going to be a little more synergistic. Simone's concerned, but I'm not going to panic. I'm just going to let the piece kind of take a life of its own.
You'll see when you progress, you know, what you feel better with.
Okay.
What you call wall power, once it is hanging on the wall, and that's what you want. Hi, Neo. So what are you working on?
Well, I'm working on a portrait of Miles. It's his movement and the different locations that he sets up his projects.
Conceptually, it's very interesting. What I'm not so sure is the visual result of it all.
Okay.
I'm a little worried that the judges might not see what you're trying to convey.
This process has been much more difficult for me than I thought it ever would. Believe me, the stress was piling on.
What is this?
Coming up on Work of Art.
Damn it. It's fried. I can't screen anymore. I'm screwed. That's it for me.
Hi, Eric. So, how have you been doing so far?
This is a hell of a time to learn how to paint. What I did with Mark was I immediately just knew he was just goofy.
And why did you choose a palette?
I almost wanted to have him trapped in there.
This is at a stage where you could overdo it, possibly. Yeah. You have this contrast between a very figurative depiction of the clown and then this very kind of abstract expressionist color blobs on top of it. So on one level, it looks nearly done.
Do you want to go hit the strip club since I'm done?
No strip club tonight?
I finished early. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I kind of have free time now to make minor changes and worry about if I did a good enough job.
Hi, Miles. How are you doing?
I'm working on a screen print right now, and basically the photograph is the aesthetic of a traditional death portrait for Neo.
Oh, I see.
And then back there is my fort that I made for exposing screens.
You've tried something fairly, sophisticated in terms of technique.
No, thanks, man. Yeah.
Maybe you can show me what you installed there.
Yeah, sure. In here, I set up a light table, and the light behind this is the thing that exposes it.
I'm very impressed in terms of processing. It's first rate, and I hope that the result will be equally first rate.
Me too.
But I think it looks promising, so I look forward to seeing it.
Thank you.
Hi, Mark.
Hello, how are you? I'm doing all right. I wanted to make him look as tough and gritty and beat up as possible.
So you're playing with the computer image to try and enhance it?
Yes, making him swollen around here, making his knuckles more bruised.
It's very punchy and strong, and I see exactly what you're getting at.
I think my work's of pretty high quality, and I'll at least be above average. Growing up in a small town, being above average is not bad at all. I'll take a B+.
We have under half an hour until midnight, so try and get as advanced as you can before tomorrow. After that, you will all be going to the William Beaver House, which will be your home during the competition. One more thing, the winner of this challenge will get immunity and cannot be eliminated from the next challenge. Thank you so much. Good night.
Thank you so much.
Bye, thank you.
15 more minutes.
Yeah, it is kind of like Stephen King's It. Good luck with that. Eric is essentially making me look a little creepy. I don't see myself as dark and creepy.
I see Ryan, I see Abdi, Jackie really starting to get into representational detail. My piece is different from the other pieces. I'm hoping that the judges understand what the intention of the work is. I think it's time to sleep.
My ball broke for exposing.
Oh no.
The ball was just the most crucial part to the screen printing process. It's fried. I can't screen anymore. My OCD started to act up. It was just overwhelming because I plan out to a T everything that I'm going to do, and when a wrench is thrown into it, I just get really worked up. I'm screwed. That's it for me.
Yeah, I guess I could live here for a little while. It's okay.
I've never stayed in a place like this. I've been sleeping in my truck and sleeping at my parents' house. This is kind of a new thing.
Who wants one?
Oh God, like, I'm thinking about how much it sucked that that ball ballooned. It's just really overwhelming. So I'm feeling stressed out.
It's like, I have arrived.
Yeah, it's really funny. Today is the first gallery show. No one wants to be the first person to go home.
I had some weird dreams, I'll tell you that much. I just woke up to the stupid reality that I couldn't screen print anymore, so I'll have to experiment with the materials in the studio.
Let's go, kids. Don't forget the Motrin.
I don't know how I'm gonna get this done in time. I really like my portrait visually, but I'm still not quite sure if I've captured the essence of Ryan.
Even though Simone's not really sure about my portrait of Miles, I trust that the result, whatever it may be, is going to be a product of art. And I also have this other photo portrait I took of Miles. So I decided to use the picture behind my drawing.
It's going to be right down to the wire. I'm attaching printouts of Nail to this panel that I made last night, and then just do a little bit of random screen printing with that little bit of screen that was like partially exposed.
I'm worried mine is a little too soft.
Yeah, she's definitely got like the bright color thing going on.
I'm very proud of my piece. I'm extremely excited for how it looks to the public, but I'm also a little nervous about getting feedback from the judges. She's got like 2 different necklaces, she's got some flowers, so this is probably how she feels inside.
The way that she's describing the work to me is much more interesting than the way it looks.
I just feel like it's too straightforward, and I would work on the eyes more.
What is going on with Nail? Just work on your own piece.
I'm just saying what
I know.
Okay.
It's just that at this point.
I know, it's stressful.
It's done. It's done. I was standing back there. It looks exactly like me.
Even though that's not the original idea, I'm feeling pretty confident about the finished product.
How are we doing on time? 5 minutes. Yes.
So everyone, time's up.
This is the first time I will ever be critiqued on my art. Ever. I'm scared shitless.
Coming up on Work of Art.
There's nothing worse than showing a crap piece to the public.
To you, it's a portrait, but to no one else will it ever be a portrait.
Oh, there's one room that gets a private room.
I should take the single room because I need a lot of space.
Rock, paper, scissors.
1, 2, 3.
Nicole is the winner. Then I just say, Judith, you just take the single room.
Why? Come on, say it. Why? There's only one reason that they would do that, and that is because I am the elder of the 3 of us.
I'm gonna take the window.
I love having my single private room. Okay. I'm not gonna argue about it.
Good evening, everyone. I want to introduce you to your permanent panel of judges.
I recognize the judges, and the pit of my stomach just drops out.
First, we have Jerry Salt, a 2-time Pulitzer Prize finalist and senior art critic for New York Magazine.
Art is a way of showing the outside world what your inside world is like.
Jeannie Greenberg-Rowatin, art advisor and gallerist.
I'm just looking for something that intrigues me, something that confuses me or surprises me.
And Bill Powers, co-owner of Half Gallery on the Lower East Side and editor-at-large for Purple Magazine.
We're looking for artists that inspire us to look at the world from a new angle.
Okay, it's time to open the gallery and let's see how you did.
I'm happy with my piece, because there's nothing worse than showing a crap piece to the public. I made a portrait of Trong, showing Trong in his role as writer, curator, and artist.
I'm not 100% pleased with it by any means, but I took some risks with it in terms of constituting it in a 3D format.
I think the judges should be impressed with my work because my Photoshop skills are pretty damn good, and it looks like a good solid art piece.
Seeing my work for the first time in a gallery is nail-biting, but it looks like it belongs.
Since nudity is part of the piece, I think it was interesting to people because they wanted to know how it had happened.
I think it captures a part of me, but not 100%. I knew that my piece would just stand out because of the intensity of it.
I think it looks beautiful. It's got a little bit of glitz and almost nobility.
I feel that my piece has a lot of detail, but also I've used the color palette that is Jamie's palette to represent this graceful, open nature about her. Your image is just really strong.
Thank you. When I see my piece lit, it felt exactly how I wanted it to feel, and I actually started to feel a small little point of relief. But I gotta give it to the judges. They either play poker or have watched a lot of people play poker because they're not giving anything away.
I'm really happy with it. I think it looks fantastic. And sometimes it takes a lot of work to make something look minimalist and clean.
For her age, Judith is kind of fun and humorous with the kind of bright colored fluorescent clothes she wears. Judith's also sad and serious on the inside, and I really wanted to capture that element as well.
I don't like this picture I've made. I am not sure what I think the expression is.
I'm worried about the scale. I'm looking at Abdi's work, and his painting is huge, and my painting looks small and stupid.
Kind of left my comfort zone in some ways and painted faster than I usually do. And the end result I was really, really happy with. So I'm really excited to hear what the judges have to say about my work.
We would like to talk to the following artists for the crit. Abdi, Eric, Amanda, Mark, Miles, and Nao. If I haven't called your name, congratulations, you've made it to the next challenge. Please head up to your studio. Thank you. For the rest of you, we'd like to find out more about your pieces. Miles, let's start with you.
This is a death portrait, and one of the main elements that I was trying to pull forward in this is this middle ground of things, tension and release, life and death.
But why the piece of plastic sticking out from the edge of the whole thing?
Nao's portrait had this series of stills from a film that she made where she had wrapped her head in this plastic bag, and I thought wrapping the piece in that plastic really paralleled what she had in her self-portrait.
But you killed her.
No, not killing her, just more like a little bit of an ode.
I mean, I think you look beautiful in that piece.
Absolutely. I was thinking that you looked completely euphoric, as if we're watching you drown. I think you captured that really well.
Thank you.
So, Nao, what about Miles inspired you to do this?
In the studio, he is just flying everywhere. I drew knowing that there would be a bleed. Each time I drew a line, I would try to make it twice as long.
How much of that do you think the viewer can get?
None of it.
The challenge was to make
a portrait.
A portrait.
But that isn't near the idea of a portrait.
I'm going to respectfully disagree with you because it's a portrait of Miles' process. And Miles is over here.
From where I'm standing, I can't see the photograph of Miles.
Well, typically people walk around in a gallery situation.
But if somebody's coming from this angle, they're gonna miss that altogether.
Well, if they're not paying attention, it's not my problem.
Sounds like you're being a little defensive.
I'm not responsible for your experience of my work.
I think it's time to move on. So, Eric, you had Mark as a subject.
He's kind of the clown figure. So the idea was containing the clowniness, the silliness.
In terms of the presentation, I'm not feeling the easel at all.
I'm untrained. I tried to come up with reasons in my head on why it shouldn't be on an easel, and I really couldn't.
To me, when I saw it, I thought of John Wayne Gacy, the serial killer. Did self-portraits of himself.
I didn't mean to make him that creepy. I like clowns.
Your attack, your color, your surface, and the type of painting it is the problem. Do you know what I mean?
I don't really know what you mean because I'm not trained.
You can't use that.
I don't know a whole lot about art or art history, so in terms
That's
of...
3 times. We're using the 5-strike rule and
Okay.
you're out. Go on.
Please tell me if this is an excuse or not.
I'll let you know.
A professional might know one way of doing things, but an amateur, the possibilities are endless.
Mark?
When I met Eric, he has a very almost aggressive appearance with the tattoos, but I realized he was a sweet, very funny pussycat kind of guy.
The pose is so iconic. It does have a real power that way.
You've got a strong point of view.
Portraiture has really been taken over by photography, and you are right on for today.
Thank you very much.
So, Amanda, we want to hear about your piece.
I didn't want to use an image of her. The focus was to capture what my impression and essence of Jamie was.
Can you tell us what was your impression of her?
She had a lot of layering on. Jewelry, big flowers, there's big hair.
I'm getting falling leaves, is what I'm feeling off of that.
Because I am an abstract painter, I don't necessarily use representational images to create the work.
I have to say, this is, you could call it either design or it's landscape. To you, it's a portrait, and maybe to Jamie, but to no one else will it ever be a portrait.
It's just a scent is what you've given us.
Too much of a whisper.
Too much of a whisper.
Abdi?
I started noticing stuff about Ryan. He had like a jacket on, he was sweating like profusely, and I was thinking of like the idea of like an oven or like this intensity.
I think definitely because of your color choice and the composition, this is one of the pieces in this gallery. You walk in, you can't miss it.
I love the fact that you gave it the light from behind. He is contemporary, he is nasty. I think you really captured your subject.
Thank you.
Okay, artists, you have given us a lot to talk about. We will call you back shortly. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh my God. Hey.
It was interesting.
I think I was a little bit rude to them.
Oh, really?
A little bit.
Okay, so that was our first gallery show. What do we think?
Pretty exciting.
So I'm really impressed with what they were able to accomplish in just 13 hours.
There was a real variety in terms of how they were executed.
Why don't we talk about our favorite?
Miles. The picture has a sexy quality to it, and there's a little bit of tension that I like.
And I like the historical context, pulling out this kind of obscure subgenre of photography and trying to give it a contemporary spin.
All good moves.
Let's talk about Abdi.
The painting is fantastic. The tones of reds that he used throughout, it's got a lot to offer.
And if the point of a portrait is to capture your subject, I feel like he did that very well.
Yeah, I like that it kind of also had a vertical thrust to it. You felt like he's really stretching out, and that came through.
What do we think of Mark's portrait of Eric?
In terms of capturing the spirit of Eric, I thought he did a good job.
The commercial aspect to his work is going to be a positive thing for him.
Why don't we move on to our least successful?
When I saw that clown piece on that easel, I was a little embarrassed.
I don't mind Eric's clown so much as the way he painted the clown. The expression is neither here nor there. It's not a portrait, it's a clown painting.
How about Neo's piece?
She got a little lost in Miles' head.
It's certainly too obscure. It's not anything except a kind of minimalistic painting.
To me, looking at this, having a gallery, I don't think I could sell this piece to somebody. If I personally can't get off on it, I can't expect to convince somebody else to.
No.
And I don't mind that you may not agree with what we're saying, but I felt like nothing was getting in.
What about Amanda? Jerry, would you have known this was a portrait?
I'm afraid I wouldn't know it's a portrait.
And so she had played around with her attack of the canvas, but none of it really paid off.
It looks to me like very good wallpaper. I think if portraiture's main goal is to represent a person, we definitely have some winners here, and of course some losers as well.
Have we made our decision? Okay. Congratulations, your work this week was exceptional. Miles, Mark, Abdi, only one of you can win. The winner tonight will receive immunity and cannot be eliminated next week. Congratulations. Miles, you're the winner of this challenge.
Cool.
More than anyone else, you truly captured the essence of your subject.
Thank you. I was just so blown away. I'm just real antsy to get back into making art just because that's when I'm easily the most calm.
You can head up to the studio and please send your colleagues down. Well done.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, the winner.
It's been said that good art is not what it looks like, but how it makes us feel. Your work didn't make us feel anything.
Nao, there was a lot of process in your work, but not enough portrait.
Okay.
Eric, we heard a lot of backpedaling, but there's no excuse for a bad painting.
Amanda, you could only read your piece as abstraction. It didn't communicate anything about Jamie as a subject.
Nao, Eric, Amanda, one of you is leaving us tonight. Amanda, your work of art didn't work for us. It's time for you to go.
I can think of a million other ways that I might have approached it, but my work did not warrant me being the first person to go home.
Thank you, Amanda.
I'm feeling pretty disappointed that I'm not going to get to go forward and be part of the additional challenges. So I'm going home, everybody. I was selected. It was great meeting all of you guys.
Amanda, you did my portrait.
I'm feeling pretty bummed. While I'm disappointed, I'm just going to continue to expand this amazing journey that I've been on to really make art my career.
Coming up this season on Work of Art.
It's crazy.
That is art making, baby.
You don't deserve to be here.
I don't.
No, I don't think so.
Then you.
You just shot yourself in the foot, man.
The most shocking work sometimes is not even meant to be shocking.
Yeah, this is as disturbing as it gets, in my opinion.
They certainly give you a rush of blood, to put it mildly.
Oh my God!
Sarah Jessica!
Hi. This is the best day of my life.
It works.
This competition is really going to change my life, who I am as an artist.
This feels more like a white trash wedding.
This piece is distractingly boring.
I'm a fine artist. I don't.
All right,
I actually think that you're not making art here.
To learn more about Work of Art, The Next Great Artist, visit BravoTV.com.
Matches, pretty matches.